M14, one of the Pentagon's most expensive mistakes, 7 years of catastrophic service. 35,000 rifles recalled for critical defects. It wasn't just bad, it was falling apart in their hands, soldiers ditching them for enemy AK-47s in Vietnam. The ultimate humiliation, American troops trusting Soviet steel over their own gear. But here's what nobody tells you. 40 years later, when the war moved from the jungle to the mountains, that same failed rifle became Afghanistan's most requested weapon. Every upgrade tells the story of a rifle that refused to die. The problem started before combat even began. Between 1945 and 1957, the Army ran trials to replace the M1 Garand. Springfield Armory's T-44 won through manipulated testing. Winter trials in 53 and 54 gave Springfield weeks to prepare their rifles in cold chambers, while competitor FAL rifles received zero preparation. The T-44 won on paper. Political pressure did the rest. May 1, 1957 brought adoption as the M14. Production immediately collapsed. 2 years after adoption, just 50 rifles delivered. Quality disasters followed. 35,000 recalled for wrong steel specifications and improper heat treatment. Brittle receivers from AISI 1330 steel instead of specified 8620. Sheared bolt locking lugs. Receiver cracks. 7,000 bolts required replacement before rifles could return to service. Contractors blamed each other. Parts weren't interchangeable between manufacturers. Winchester components didn't fit Harrington and Richardson rifles. A 1-year emergency program was required just to establish consistent specifications. Then, Thompson Ramo Wooldridge joined as fourth contractor and proved proper manufacturing was possible. They met quotas within 1 year, produced 319,000 rifles in 2 years. Springfield took 4+ years for 167,000. Secretary McNamara deemed it a failure before troops ever deployed to Vietnam. Total production, 1,380,000 rifles. That's where manufacturing disaster ended and combat disaster began. Vietnam exposed every limitation. The rifle was built for 500-meter European combat. Vietnam delivered 50 to 200-meter jungle firefights against AK-47s. The wooden stock became the critical failure point. 90% humidity caused wood to swell like a stuck door frame. The stock crushed against the receiver, destroying accuracy. Full auto fire became uncontrollable. Troops called it an anti-aircraft gun because the muzzle vanished into the sky when firing automatic. Field armorers started permanently disabling full auto capability because soldiers couldn't use it. The first upgrade attempt came during Vietnam itself. The M14A1 added selector switch modifications to improve fire control. The E2 variant brought a folding vertical foregrip, pistol grip stock, and muzzle compensator, specifically designed to control recoil and muzzle climb. Engineers hoped these ergonomic changes would tame the rifle on automatic fire. Neither worked. The problem wasn't ergonomics, it was physics. 7.62 NATO in a 9-pound rifle generated recoil forces that average soldiers couldn't control on automatic, regardless of grip configuration. The modifications arrived too late and solved too little. The second upgrade attempt addressed the wood problem directly. Fiberglass stocks were developed to eliminate moisture absorption entirely. These synthetic stocks wouldn't swell, warp, or expand in tropical humidity. They maintained dimensional stability regardless of weather conditions. But here's what killed this solution. They arrived mid-war, after the rifle's reputation was already destroyed. By the time fiberglass stocks reached units, soldiers had already formed opinions. Many had already traded M14s for captured Kalashnikovs. Too late to matter. Weight compounded everything. 10.7 pounds loaded versus the M16's 7.5. 44.3 inches overall length versus 41 inches for the M16. In jungle combat, where soldiers carried 60-plus pounds of gear through dense vegetation, that difference meant exhaustion before reaching combat. Units searched battlefields for enemy rifles to replace American weapons. January 63, McNamara halted all production. By 67, the M16 replaced it entirely. 7 years of service, the shortest tenure in modern history. America's last full-power battle rifle was finished, except the Pentagon kept every rifle. All 1.4 million went into storage or specialist roles. Then came the upgrade that actually worked. Between 69 and 75, the Army converted 1,435 M14s into M21 Sniper systems. This wasn't a field modification. This was comprehensive precision conversion. National match barrels with tighter tolerances replaced standard barrels. Each barrel was hand-selected for concentricity and bore quality. Receivers were individually tested and matched to barrels. The adjustable ranging telescope provided 3 to 9 power magnification with bullet drop compensation. Glass bedding secured the action to the stock, eliminating movement that destroyed accuracy. Leather cheek pads provided consistent eye relief. Match-grade triggers improved shot release. The M21 proved something critical. The core M14 design was fundamentally sound. Semi-automatic fire on a stable platform with 7.62 accuracy worked brilliantly at range. Snipers could engage targets effectively at 600 to 800 meters. The gas-operated system provided faster follow-up shots than bolt-action rifles. Magazine capacity allowed engaging multiple targets without reloading. The Vietnam failure wasn't the rifle itself, it was the mission mismatch and the full auto requirement. Put the M14 in the right role with the right modifications, and it excelled. The M21 served with distinction until '88, when the M24 sniper weapon system replaced it. This upgrade revealed the path forward. Controlled semi-auto fire, precision roll, proper optics, right terrain. The concept was proven. The platform was viable. The rest sat in storage for 3 decades. Taiwan purchased production tooling in '69 and manufactured their own variants. Israel acquired rifles for border defense. Baltic states received some through military aid programs, but hundreds of thousands simply collected dust in American armories. Why keep a failed system? Storage costs less than disposal. Just-in-case doctrine meant maintaining capability even for systems officially retired. Nobody predicted what happened next. Afghanistan changed everything. 2001 brought mountain warfare back to American operations. Engagement distances jumped to 300, 400, 500 meters and beyond. The 5.56 M4 struggled at range. At distance, the lighter round lost energy and effectiveness. Barriers and cover that stopped 5.56 didn't stop 7.62. Special operations units started requesting heavier caliber rifles urgently. Snipers couldn't cover every squad. The Pentagon needed designated marksman capability immediately. Someone remembered the warehouses. Development began in 2000, with Navy SEALs requesting compact 7.62 capability for vehicle operations and close quarters. This launched the comprehensive upgrade that would finally save the platform. Mike Rock rifle barrels participated in SOPMOD conferences. Smith Enterprise Incorporated created prototypes using medium-weight 18-inch barrels. The breakthrough was Sage International's aluminum chassis stock. This single component solved the Vietnam catastrophe that had destroyed the rifle's reputation 4 decades earlier. Aircraft-grade aluminum alloy eliminated moisture absorption entirely. No swelling, no warping, no dimensional instability regardless of humidity. The chassis provided a telescoping stock with 6 positions for length of pull adjustment. Adjustable cheek rest accommodated different optics heights. M4-style pistol grip improved ergonomics and control. 4 M1913 Picatinny rails at 3, 6, 9, and 12 o'clock positions enabled modular accessory mounting. Harris bipod attached directly to the chassis. Optics mounted via standardized systems instead of requiring gunsmith modifications. But the upgrades didn't stop with the chassis. Barrel options split by service requirements. Navy variants used 18-inch barrels for compact operations in vehicles and structures. Shorter barrels reduced overall length while maintaining effective range to 500 meters. Army and Marine variants retained full 22-inch barrels for maximum velocity and extended range capability. Salt bath nitride treatment replaced traditional bluing. This process hardened the barrel surface, improved corrosion resistance, and reduced friction. Service life increased beyond original specifications. Smith Enterprise Vortex flash hider replaced the fragile USGI three-prong suppressor that broke easily in field use. Direct connect threading enabled suppressor mounting without adapters. The most important upgrade? Semi-automatic fire only. No selector switch, no full auto capability. The uncontrollable recoil problem disappeared by design choice. Every trigger pull delivered one controlled shot. Cost effectiveness drove adoption as much as capability. Converting existing M14s cost $4,000 to $5,000 per rifle. Procuring completely new designated marksman rifles ran $12,000 plus. With over 1 million rifles in storage, conversion economics made perfect sense. The Pentagon saved approximately $50 million taxpayer dollars compared to new procurement. Different services developed specialized variants optimized for different operational requirements. The Navy's MK14 Mod 0 featured 18-inch barrels for compact operations. Loopholed Mark IV scopes provided 3.5 to 10 power magnification. Black furniture maintained traditional aesthetics. Navy SEALs fielded these in 2004 for Iraq and Afghanistan operations. The MK14 Mod 1 followed with flat, dark earth furniture, optimized for desert camouflage. Improved rail systems accommodated heavier accessories. Night Force optics replaced loopholed scopes in some configurations, providing enhanced clarity and durability in harsh environments. The Marine Corps created the M39 Enhanced Marksman Rifle in 2008. This variant retained the full 22-inch barrel for maximum velocity and effective range. Schmidt and Bender M8541 Scout Sniper Day Scope, identical optics used on Marine sniper rifles, provided 3 to 12 power magnification with mil-dot reticle. Chassis geometry was optimized specifically for prone shooting positions common in Marine doctrine. The Army developed the M14 EBR-RI at Rock Island Arsenal in Illinois. 22-inch barrel like Marine variants, but different stock configuration and mounting systems. Loopholed optics remained standard. By 2010, approximately 6,200 units were fielded across Army units. Total program investment across all services, $36 to $60 million through 2018. The upgrades worked. Combat validated everything immediately. Effective range reached 500 to 600 meters, verified through engagement reports from Afghanistan and Iraq. Accuracy guarantees specified sub-1.5 minute of angle extreme spread. The 7.62 NATO round delivered 1.8 times the energy retention of 5.56 at 500 yards. Barrier penetration surpassed lighter calibers decisively. Army doctrine placed 2 EBRs per infantry squad. This gave squads organic precision fire capability without dedicating full sniper assets to the unit. The rifle filled the critical gap between M4 carbines effective to 300 meters and dedicated sniper systems optimized for engagements beyond 800 meters. Afghanistan's mountainous terrain proved ideal for the platform. Engagements routinely occurred at 400 to 600 meters across valleys and ridges. Soldiers reported successfully engaging insurgents at ranges where M4s became ineffective. Rounds simply fell short or lost energy. The EBR delivered decisive hits at distance. Vehicle engines disabled at 500+ meters. 7.62 rounds punched through mud walls and barriers that stopped 5.56 entirely. Veterans reported the psychological impact mattered as much as ballistic performance. The distinct sound of 7.62 fire was recognizable at distance. Visible impacts near enemy positions at range affected behavior differently than lighter calibers. Suppression became more effective when rounds visibly struck cover and terrain features. Enemies couldn't ignore impacts they could see and hear clearly. The weapon even gained favor for specific tactical applications, disabling vehicle engines before they reached checkpoints, engaging enemies behind cover at extended range, providing precision fire during squad movements. The EBR delivered capabilities that lighter platforms couldn't match in open terrain. The upgrades had transformed a jungle failure into a mountain warfare success story. Afghanistan proved what the M21 had hinted at decades earlier. Put the M14 in the right environment with the right modifications, and the platform excelled. But one problem remained unsolved: weight. Loaded with 20-round magazine, optics, bipod, and accessories, the EBR weighed 12 to 15 pounds. Most weight concentrated forward of the magazine well, making extended carry difficult. That 6 to 8 pound difference versus the M4 accumulated over 12-hour mountain patrols in full combat load. Additionally, rifles were turned in after deployment rather than permanently assigned to individual soldiers, creating familiarity and training consistency issues. The final limiting factor was age itself. By 2016, base M14 receivers were 50 to 60+ years old. Metal fatigue concerns mounted. Crack inspections became more frequent. Parts availability decreased as original manufacturers closed production lines decades earlier. Maintenance costs rose steadily as aging components required more frequent replacement. Early 2017 brought new Army requirements for squad-designated marksman rifles. The specification demanded approximately 11 pounds weight firing standard M80A1 7.62mm rounds with rifle optics rather than heavy magnification telescopic sights. Modern manufacturing, sustainable parts supply, reduced maintenance burden. March 2018 brought the announcement. A version of the HK-G28, which had already been selected to replace the M110 SAS sniper system, would be issued as the service's standard SDMR-designated M110A1. Modern polymer and steel construction, lighter weight, consistent parts availability, reduced long-term costs. Fielding was planned to start late 2018. The M14 EBR retired from active Army service between 2018 and 2019. Final units turned in their rifles for the lighter, more modern HK systems. But the rifles didn't disappear entirely. Some went through foreign military sales programs to nations facing similar operational requirements. Iraq received EBR systems for counterinsurgency operations requiring precision fire. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania acquired M14s through U.S. military aid programs in 2020 and 2021 as tensions with Russia escalated along their borders. Ukraine became the most significant destination. Between 2022 and 2024, Ukrainian forces received M14 rifles, including EBR variants, through Allied support packages during the Russian invasion. The rifles, originally designed in the 1940s to counter Soviet mechanized warfare in European terrain, finally served that exact mission 6 decades after conception. Ukrainian troops deployed them in eastern regions where engagement distances across open fields favored 7.62 capability over 5.56 alternatives. Here's the final irony. M14s, designed to fight Soviet armor in Europe, failed catastrophically in Asian jungles during the 60s, saved by upgrades for Middle Eastern mountains in the 2000s, finally sent to Eastern Europe fighting Russian invasions. The rifle completed its original intended mission 50 years late. What upgrades saved it from extinction? Aluminum chassis replaced wood, eliminating the moisture-induced dimensional instability that destroyed Vietnam accuracy. Shortened 18-inch barrels on Navy variants improved handling without sacrificing excessive velocity. Semi-automatic only fire control eliminated uncontrollable full-auto problems permanently. Modern Picatinny rail systems and standardized optics mounting added capability the original design never possessed. National match components for M21 proved the precision concept viable. Sage chassis for EBR solved Vietnam failures comprehensively. Service-specific variants optimized the platform for different operational requirements. What stayed the same across 6 decades? Gas-operated rotating bolt action, proven since the M1 Garand. Air-cooled barrel, 20-round detachable box magazine. 7.62mm NATO chambering, delivering superior terminal ballistics at range. The fundamental mechanical design was never broken. The Pentagon's 60-year journey with one battle rifle proves that operational mission determines weapon effectiveness more than pure technical specifications. The M14 failed catastrophically when tactical requirements and design characteristics fundamentally misaligned. Upgrades succeeded decisively when they matched weapon capabilities to terrain and doctrine. The M21 demonstrated precision viability. The EBR proved comprehensive modernization worked. Every successful upgrade solved documented battlefield problems. Every modification emerged from expensive lessons learned through combat failure. The M14 evolved from extinction-level disaster into irreplaceable precision rifle through persistent upgrades that refused to let the platform die. Sometimes, the worst weapon becomes the perfect answer when you upgrade it for the right mission and deploy it in the right place. Was it worth the 50-year journey and all the upgrades? Or should the military have just adopted the FAL from the start and skipped the entire saga? Let me know what you think in the comments.